Welcome to Lighting for Profits.
All light, all light, all light.
Powered by Emery Allen.
Get rid of your excuses.
Your number one source for all things landscape lighting.
That's where the magic can happen. You can really scale a business.
We really had to show up for each other.
From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing.
You're a scaredy cat salesman, Kurt.
We discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What do you think a hippo has to do with your business, Ryan?
Usually it's some weird childhood thing. Some bully kicks your butt.
I think the key factor here is trust.
Here is your host, Ryan Lee.
All light, all light, all light. Oh, man, we got a good one today. Oh, I'm excited. My name is Ryan Lee. I'm the host of Lighting for Profits, powered by Emery Allen. We are broadcasting live from the studio in my house. It's like by my front door. It's not that awesome, but it's exciting to talk about. I'm excited to talk about landscape lighting. Excited to talk about profitability, growing your business. If you're looking to start or grow a landscape lighting business, you're definitely in the right place. We're here to educate, motivate, to help you dominate. So today, we got an awesome show. We got an awesome guest, a friend, an associate, just an awesome person overall. We got Mr. Chase Lord. He actually owns several businesses and is starting new ones. I guess he's bored, being successful and stuff. So just recently started his own outdoor lighting business as well, Azalea Outdoor Lighting. So I'm excited to riff with him and find out about his journey. This guy is remarkable. So yes, it has been said that there's a bromance going on. We'll find out in a little bit. I'm not exactly sure. I just don't know if the feelings are mutual. So we'll get to that. But I'm excited to have Chase on, and you're gonna want to stick around for this one. By the way, guys, thank you so much for your reviews. Thank you for your support. I've been asking, I've been begging. We're up to 60 reviews on Apple, which I know some people have like 60,000, but I'm like, dude, I got 60. It's like the coolest thing because it's hard to get a review for a podcast. And I just really appreciate you guys doing that. So thank you so much. We've even got like 33 on Spotify. I mean, I'm like really proud of this stuff, guys. So thank you so much. Like it really means a lot. And just a reminder, well, actually, I don't know if I've even announced this, but the end of August, so just in a couple months, we got Secret Summit coming up. Secret Summit is the landscape lighting secrets. It's a members only event. Okay. It's coming up here the end of August in beautiful Park City, right here in Utah. So if you've never been to Utah, you are missing out, especially Park City. It's beautiful that time of year. It's going to be epic. And I want to see you there. We're going to have some guest speakers, some breakout sessions, some masterminding. It's a 2-day event, but you got to be a member of Landscape Lighting Secrets. So if you've been on the fence and you're like, I don't know, like, is this a scam? Well, if it was a scam, you would have known by now because we've been doing this for 4 years. So if you're on the fence and you're like, I just don't know, like, do it now. I promise you, you're going to want to be at this event. You got to be a member. We've got some, and we're going to be announcing some major changes to the Landscape Lighting Secrets program at that event. And you're going to want to be in the program because if you're grandfathered in, you're getting the ultimate hookup. We want to see you there. So just go to landscapelightingsecrets.com, book a strategy session with me. We'll get on the phone, get you some clarity, find out where you're at, where you want to be, and really help you get some clarity on your business. I mean, it's the ultimate strategy session clarity call. So landscapelightingsecrets.com. And also I want to thank Emery Allen, of course. So let's be honest. Were you really happy with the way your last job turned out? I know a lot of people are, and I'm like, dude, have you seen your job? But listen, was it okay, or do you think it was missing something? If I could, drop a suggestion, mix it up, do some A/B testing, and give Emery Allen a try. A lot of my clients have been using them. Even people who aren't clients have been using them. Super satisfied. Emery Allen's confident you and your customers will be happy with the final effect, right? So they've got the lowest VA, highest CRI in the industry. A better experience is what you can expect with Emery Allen. So they've got lots of different options in colors, wattages, beam spreads, all the stuff. So in order to get the discount, you want the hookup, you want the homie hookup, just email tomg@emeryallen.com and he will give you that hookup. Just mention you heard about him here on Lighting for Profits. And again, it's tomg@emeryallen.com. And you'll get the discount. So don't waste your time. Don't go to the website unless you want to overpay. Just email tomg@emeryallen.com. And again, just get your account set up. They got that single source LED and it looks really good. Just super clear. So guys, before we have Chase on, again, we got Chase Lord. If you missed the very beginning, we got Chase coming on. He owns several businesses, including an outdoor lighting business. And he's got a resume of success and a really cool backstory. And we're going to learn about some of the things that he's learned along his way. He's even been a coach. He's even launching new things. It's going to be awesome. So stick around. In just a couple minutes, we're going to have Chase on. Before we do, I want to talk about something that's really, really important. And lately, this is going to become more and more of a topic pretty much every single day, every single week for the next probably 2 years. Is anyone struggling with leads? Is anyone struggling getting high quality leads lately? Are you worried about the economy? Like what's going to happen, right? And I'm about to drop a truth bomb that some people ain't going to be able to handle. Okay. For some reason, if you don't own a franchise, you kind of grow up in business like despising franchises. Am I right? Like, are you guys like that? I don't know why that is exactly, but generally speaking, the independent companies do not like franchise companies. And it's kind of weird, but it's kind of true. And I also found myself in this exact same mindset as an independent business owner. And so I think it comes down to a few different things. One of them probably being pride. I remember thinking like, well, I'm doing all this on my own. I don't need any help. So that somehow makes me better, right? And I know that's weird, but that's just kind of like how it works. And I can't explain all of it. But and even a lot of franchise owners, they don't like being in a franchise either because they have to pay the 8 to 10%, right? All their revenue gets sucked out, 8 to 10% of it, and that's like half your profits, and it gets old, right? But I do want to do something that's a little bit different. I want to give the franchises a shout out because honestly, I want to give them a shout out today because they do, whether you like them or not, they do a lot of really good things, like very, very well, and a lot of things that are really crucial to success. So the one thing that I really want to talk about is this notion of investing. Okay. So franchisors, again, whether you like them or not is irrelevant at this point. We're talking about this. But franchisors, they require the franchisees to invest usually a minimum of $40,000 to $50,000 in advertising to start up their very first year and maintain that minimum every single year. And it might change based on their revenues as well. So this is super important because like, well, why do they do this? And by the way, this is on top of the franchise fee. This is on top of the startup cost of equipment, trailers, tools, overhead, vehicles, and all the other things that goes with starting up a business. And so here's why they do this. They do this because 82%, and this might be made up. I don't know. I got this off Google, guys. So let's I don't know if Google's true or not anymore, but it's probably close to true. 82% of small businesses fail because of cash flow problems. Okay, whether it's 83% or 79, who cares? We do know this. The majority of businesses fail because they run out of money. Like that's just the truth, right? And so if you are an owner of your business, do you know what your number one job is? You know what your number one job is? It's to not run out of money. If you run out of money, the game is over. The game is over, okay? And if you're playing Monopoly, you can like put up some properties and do some weird stuff, but like pretty much the game's over. Like you ain't going to come back and win that one because someone's got hotels and they're going to dominate. Okay. So why then do franchisors require their people to spend more money if you're trying to not run out of money, but they're spending more money out of the gate before they've even made money, right? Isn't that negative cash flow? And it's like, well, yeah, it is negative cash flow. But another way of saying this is investing. Okay, investing is the key, you guys. Everyone thinks they know the definition of investing, and I used to think I knew too. And while most people might know the definition of investing, only a handful of people, only the people that are succeeding right now, truly understand what it means. There's a difference between, knowing the definition and understanding what it means. So I'm about to weed out. Okay, I'm about to weed out the pros from the amateurs at this point. So you see, if you truly understand what investing means, you wouldn't be saying things like, well, I can't afford to pay someone that. The guy doesn't have any experience. I can't afford to pay him 25 an hour. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Okay. Are you guilty of saying that? I can't afford to do direct mail. It's too expensive. I can't afford to hire an office manager. I can't afford to hire a salesperson. I can't afford to wrap my van. Okay. I can't afford to spend $5,000 a month on advertising. If you're saying these things, Your mindset's off. And if you're saying those things, you think that investing is the same thing as spending, right? You think that those things cost you money. And I've learned, sometimes the hard way, that they're completely different. Those things don't cost you money. In reality, they make you money, right? That's the definition of an investment. Like, it makes you money, it yields a return. So this is why franchises have an unfair competitive advantage when getting started. Okay. And there's so many people that don't own a franchise that, talk trash on franchises or whatever. And then they're like, man, I'm slow, I don't know what to do. It's like, well, have you invested? Have you invested in yourself? Have you invested in your business? Because these franchises require people to invest, right? And this is an unfair advantage out of the gate because they're spending 5 to 10 grand a month to win the game. Listen, if you want to build or be a $1 million business, you better start acting like one. Okay. And here's what I mean by that. Like, and by the way, some people are like, well, I don't want to be $1 million business. Like, okay, we're using as an example. So relax. Like, maybe you only want to do 500,000, which if you want to only do 500,000, maybe you shouldn't be a business owner. Like, just go work for someone. Right. And maybe you want to do 5 million. I don't care what the number is, but you want to start acting like who you want to be. So you'll never become that person if you don't start acting like it, right? So if you want leads, then you need to build a marketing machine that gives you 2, 3, 5, 10 times the amount that you put into it, right? And if you want to do this, then you better be ready to invest because the marketing machine requires an input. You can't just tap it on the side. You can't just wait around. You can't be like, man, when that machine's going to turn on and give me some leads. Like, you have to plug it in. You have to put some inputs into it, okay? So remember, to build a business requires you to take risks, and that includes financial risks. So 15% of revenue is what is going to be required to build and grow a business. And if you think that's crazy, then again, maybe this game's not for you. But you need to be prepared to invest this money to grow your business. So you got to pay to play. That means for your first million in sales, these numbers are like going to blow some people away. They're your first million in sales. You're going to have to be prepared to spend $150,000 that year to generate $1 million. Okay. And that seems scary to a lot of people because when you do the math, that's $12,500 a month. And people are like, dude, I can't afford that. Well, that's because you're spending, not investing. You can't afford to spend $12,500 a month, but you can afford to invest it, right? Because I promise you this, no one that's investing that kind of money right now is slow. They're fine. They're booming. And people are like, how are they growing when I'm dying? Well, they're investing. You're spending. Okay. This is it, guys. It's not a secret. It's not a landscape lighting secret. This is just reality, right? The successful business owners are risking, they're spending, they're investing in their business every single week. And this is how it works, you guys. You have to be prepared to do this. Now, what's cool is once you get to $1 million, you don't always have to stay at that 15%. Okay. When I had my business, I was very aggressive and people were like, well, how'd you do it? Well, I spent money, right? I invested and I was willing to take risks. And guess what? Not everyone worked. Like, sometimes I had one magazine I invested in, $20,000. We didn't even get one lead from it. Like, that sucks. Don't do what I did. Right. But I didn't know it didn't work until I tried it. Right. And I wouldn't say, like, if you have $20,000, go try one thing. Like, you need to diversify. And luckily at that point I was diversified. So yeah, I was down 20 here, but this other 20 yielded me 80, 100, 200, whatever it was. Right. And so sometimes things are up, sometimes things are down, but overall you win. And I'm just telling you right now, the people who are not slow right now and are doing well, they're not waiting for the phone to ring. They're making the phone ring. Okay. And so, like I said, whether you like franchises or not, that's irrelevant. They do a lot of right things. And one of them is requiring their people to invest. So take a page out of their book and require yourself to invest. No excuses. This is a requirement starting right now to be a business owner. If you can't afford to take risks, then maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Okay. And then the next thing is like, well, people are like, well, I don't have the money. What do you mean you don't have the money? Like, find the money. And this is why I'm such a super fan of pricing. Like, I could talk about this 24/7 because if you can't afford it, then raise your price. Because honestly, it's not that you can't afford it. You can't afford not to. You have to raise your price to be able to afford to do this stuff. Okay. So I don't care if it's a business line of credit, a credit card, rich uncles. Like, I don't care. Like, there's money out there. Okay. Get creative. Make this be a priority for yourself, and you will find a way to win this game. And I'm telling you, like, whoever can outspend their competition in marketing is the one who's going to win. And this is kind of a blanket statement. There's some like details and stuff that we have to like dig into, which we're not going to do today. But just know that if you're not willing to invest, if you're not willing to spend money on marketing, invest in marketing, you can't expect the phone to ring. Okay. And I've got clients on both ends of the spectrum right now. The ones that are slow, wondering what the heck's to do, and they're not investing in marketing. And then I've got people on the other side that are like, we're booked out weeks. Like we can't handle the lead flow. Right. And it's not their market. It's not how long they've been in business. It's how much they're willing to invest into marketing. So I don't think it's fair to complain until you've invested 15%, right? And what's cool, like I said, when I got started, I was really heavily investing into it. After a while, we actually kept our marketing spend the same, but years 2, 3, 4, 5, especially those 6, 7, and 8, you start to get a lot of repeat business, a lot of referral, and this is like gravy train, right? And a lot of businesses can't make it that far because of cash flow; they run out of money. But if you can make it that long, you're going to start to get all this other business. The year I sold my business, we did $600,000 in repeat business alone. $600,000. That's more than a lot of lighting businesses do in a year. And we didn't have to pay 15% for that. Right. So we went from spending 15 to 17% on marketing down to like 5 to 6%, simply because we grew our revenue without growing our investing. So lots of different ways to win, but you got to be willing to take risk. You got to be willing to invest. Hope that makes sense. If not, if you're not in my free Facebook group, it's Landscape Lighting Secrets. Just look for it on Facebook. Join that. Tag me. Any questions? I'm here to help. My goal, you guys, is to help you for free, so that when you are ready, you can join the coaching program, and you're playing with Vegas money. It's like you've already won by the things that we teach you on this podcast, and so then you just come with Vegas money. And like, yeah, I didn't have this money before, so now I can afford to invest in training, in coaching, in advertising. That's the goal here. All right, enough about me. It's time to get our guest on. Let me know if you guys are ready. I'm super excited. If I can find the button, then I'm even more excited. Let's go. What is up, Mr. Chase Lord?
What's up? Dude, thank you. This is so good to be here with you.
I'm excited, man. We've gotten to know each other over the last year or so, and we have in-person meetups, we have Zoom meetings, and we follow each other on Facebook, get to know each other's families a little bit. So thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'm excited to have you on for a lot of different reasons. I'm a secret admirer / non-secret admirer. You know that. And you're just an overall like great dude. You're always smiling. Your energy is contagious. Like you've coached a lot of people. You've had a lot of success. You've had some not in successes, but you overcome it, right? And you're always willing to talk about it. So I'm hoping we can get into some of that today, because it's like it's pretty sexy online. Like I'm always like posting like, oh look, I was riding dirt bikes with my family. And I'm not posting like these long grinding days where I've got these headaches and I'm laying on the couch because I can't open my eyes and I'm like, oh, I can't stare at this computer monitor anymore. So we'll talk a little bit about the good and the bad, the ugly.
I love it. Yes.
Do me a favor real quick. Just introduce yourself. Tell us how you got your start into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, absolutely. Chase Lord, Augusta, Georgia. I run a company called MEGAH SoftWash, recently started Azalea Outdoor Lighting. We have been in business full-time for 7 years. I washed my very first house in February of 2016, Miss LaShawn Tankersley's house. I can remember being at her house. I just bought this pressure washer. And as I'm standing there and the neighbor walks over to ask me to wash his house, I'm washing her house. I blow the top of her light sconce off and it just like flies off. The neighbor's like, hey, could you give me a price? So we've gone from that, buying a $500 truck with 387,000 miles on it, to now, you know, we run a fleet of 6 trucks. We've got another location in Baltimore with our business partner up there. I got a wife and 3 kids. I've been married to my wife. August will be 17 years. A 13-year-old son, 11-year-old daughter, 8-year-old daughter. And I love me some Jesus. So I don't want to miss that part as well.
Of course.
I am far from perfect in this thing. So I want to, like, full disclosure, I am a ball of mess. And so I don't know a lot, but what I do know, I want to fully give today or however I can to serve your audience. And I want to say, Ryan, man, thank you for your consistency in producing this podcast. I don't know if I've listened to every podcast, but as we were talking about earlier, you and I have worked out a lot together in the mornings at about 5 a.m. So hopefully you're feeling the effects of that.
I'm getting ripped. Yeah,
yes.
I'm getting ripped. So
well, I'm glad one of us is.
That's probably the earliest I wake up is when you're working out in the gym with me, 5 a.m. Eastern.
Yes. Yeah, that is early.
I'm like going to bed at that time. I think 3 o'clock my time. Yeah, that's about bedtime for me. Well, no, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, you know, it's easy to, like, I'm just like you. Like, it's easy to just see the good stuff, but like there's days that are grinds, and there's days like, man, does anyone even care that I'm doing this podcast? And there's self-doubt and all that stuff. So I really do appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. And I wanted, I know you're going to lead me in this, but I did want to comment on your intro where you talked about marketing, and you said the number one job for an entrepreneur is to not run out of money. And so for us, December 1 to February 27, we lost $89,000 inside of our business. It's the winter. It's a tough season. We're carrying guys over. We're doing light takedowns on our Christmas lights in January, no revenue from those guys. And then January, February, I have this saying lately, and I'll tell my clients, I'm like, boys, this ain't 2020 anymore. 2020 is gone. And you mentioned leads. It's funny how many people got into business in 2020, or, you know, me, even like, I would even call myself a COVID baby if you were to term it as far as business. I was able to take advantage of what ended up being the shot in the arm for the home service business. And if it were not for us over the last few years, really dialing it in, setting aside retained earnings, there's no way you make it through losing $87,000 over a 3-month period without having that money set aside and being prepared. Now, the good news is from March 1 until today, wrote this number down, we have generated $168K in profit during that period. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. I'll leave you with this last thing on marketing, and I'm kind of taking over your podcast, so I apologize.
No, this is how it's supposed to go. I already got it out of my system, so now
Okay.
I'm just talking 45.
No. So Grant Cardone, all of my coaching clients could probably repeat this because I've said it so many times. People don't buy from you because they don't know you. And the only way they're going to know you is if you invest, if you're out there, if you're putting yourself out there. People buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And I know there's a lot of older guys, and I think your podcast guest from last week, the hardscape landscape guy, he talked about, you know, there's a lot of guys, you know, I've been working for 20 years, never spent a dime on marketing. It's like, can you imagine your business if you had invested, or if you had a social media page where you were the guy that everybody knows? Everybody knows Ryan's the lighting guy, right? Everybody knows JC Chanowski. He's the Christmas light, Mr. Christmas Lights. Everybody knows these guys. It's because they put themselves out there. So people buy from people they know, like, and trust. There's a reason why you put out videos of you riding mini bikes and dirt bikes, you know, through the mountains and going on trail hikes, because people know you. They love that about you, and they trust you. They know that they can trust you. So I'm done talking, and I'll let you get us back on track.
Talking. This is bad. Like, we need you to keep talking. Well, it's a great perspective on marketing, because some people think, well, I can't afford it. There's a lot of stuff you can do that doesn't cost money. Like, how much effort and energy and time of your day are you putting into those things that gets people to know, like, and trust you in your community? It could be in-person events. It could be social media. It could be going on to those group pages, the community pages, Facebook moms, all those, and like sharing. It doesn't have to be like, hey, here's an ad, it's $350 off, do our service. It could be like, hey, there's a cool thing coming up, anyone want to go to this? And they're like, they get to know you as the authority for something in your community. So yeah, great advice.
Yeah, absolutely. And thinking long term, like so many of us, especially young entrepreneurs, it's, hey, we got to get the quick dollar. I went and pulled our report real quick. You were talking about repeat business. I looked at last year, our repeat business on, let me tell you, on 1.3, a little over 1.3 million. We had $794,000 in repeat clients last year. Now we
Oh,
are a little more, reoccurring
yeah.
than the lighting, what you guys would be doing with installs. But yeah, just it's all about nurturing that client. Don't go for the short buck. It's about a client experience long term and keeping these clients coming back.
Yeah, I love it. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. I think like I hear you're over 1 million in sales for your washing business, and I don't know if people think that's a lot or not. I think it's a ton. What's the average ticket of your clients?
Yeah, so we're at 880 is our average ticket.
Yeah, so that's why I think that's huge. Like 880. So
We
that's
served 1,291 clients last year.
that's crazy. And that blows my mind. When you got like an average ticket of landscape lighting that's way higher than that. So like to get to that would be like getting into like $10 million in landscape lighting.
Yeah, that's most. I'm like, man, we should have started an HVAC business or something with a higher average ticket price here.
The grass is always greener,
Oh,
right?
yeah, right. Exactly.
What was the hardest part of getting to maybe where you're at now? I mean, really, I'd say a million, but it's kind of where you're at now too. Like,
Yeah.
because I don't know if this was true for you when I started those first couple years, that honeymoon phase. Like, it didn't matter if things sucked. It didn't matter if I was poor. It didn't matter if I worked 26 hours a day. I don't even know how it's possible, but I just loved it. I was like, this is so cool. And then after that, that's when like Lindsay comes in and is like, are you my husband? Like, we need to go to like counseling and stuff. And so then like reality kicks in and it's like, I don't know, I might just get a job. I think it might be easier getting a job. How what are those phases true for you? Like what was some of the most challenging parts getting to where you're at now?
Yeah, I think, and I think you may have talked about this with Josh Latimer, but the hardest part for an entrepreneur is not sucking all of the money out of their business. Let's say someone does $200,000 in revenue in their lighting business. They say, well, I have a 70% profit margin, therefore I take 50% as owners pay, but we have nothing to carry over year to year. And so pressing pause on the jet ski and the hot tub and all the things and
But
being
it's a
able
hot
to
tub, man. Come on.
Nah, no,
Everyone's hot
trust
tub.
me. I would love to be in a hot tub with my smoking hot wife. That's a whole different story. Yeah, I think, and even now, to be honest, I've made the same amount of personal income over the last 3 years in my business, but it's because we're strategically not pulling that money out. We're reinvesting into our business. In fact, doing that positioned us to be able to buy our first commercial property. We just bought a 12,000 square foot building, 2.5 acre lot. Our latest tenant just got in there, so that thing's fully rented. But
Heck yeah.
being patient in the short term with a long term vision, and it's really hard for me. Like I made this comment the other day, and I make it all the time. I unfortunately get my value in life. And this isn't right. I'm working on it, on how much money I make and how much sex I have with my wife. Like as a man, those are the two things. That's like,
right.
yeah, that's my measuring. And so I'm trying to course correct that. But yeah, someone's ability to look long term and be able to be patient. And I'm going to look at myself in the camera right now. Be patient, play the long game right now. Okay. So yeah, that for me, that's the struggle.
Well, asking for a friend. So what should our values be if it's not those two?
Yeah, so, man, this is so good. So I don't know how deep we want to go on this, but my
We wanna go
value,
deep, Chase.
my value is not in how Chase Lord sees me. My value is in how my creator sees me, looking through the lens of Christ, looking at me. That's what he sees. And I need to be able to see myself as Christ sees me and not as Chase sees me. And I've got it. You guys, I'll pitch this real quick. My wife, we did about 6 episodes of a podcast. It's coming back. Chase Freedom Podcast. If you just look up Chase and Mandy on YouTube, and I'll share a little bit of my story of how I was finding my value in the wrong things and finding my value in some addiction issues. And so for me, it's just a constant battle, a constant correction. My value is not based on what I think I'm worth in a period of time, even on the highs. Like I think we go on this emotional roller coaster instead of seeing our value for what it is. Our value doesn't increase or decrease in the eyes of our creator based on how we perform in our business or with our family or anything like that.
Gosh, that's so good. That is so good. When I come home from especially our in-person meetups that we've been in, we're in the same mastermind and we do like calls and stuff like that. But those in-person meetups are just special.
So
and
good.
I come home for those and I tell my wife, I'm like, Lindsay, like I think I'm Christian. Like I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I worship him. I do all this stuff, but I get around people like Chase and I'm like, gosh, I don't know if I'm Christian enough. Like, because you always tie it back into that, and it's that I'm just being honest. Like, that's not where my
Thank you.
first thought goes. And
Yes.
I'm like, man, what's wrong with me? But even that's a problem. Like, don't think like that. But it's a huge example to me. And I'm like, man, I love being around these guys because it reminds me, it kind of it repositions my trajectory. Like, what is my focus? Like, because I'm talking about it's called lighting for profits. We're always talking about profits. Well, like, what is our focus? Like, our goal is to serve God. You know what I mean? And that's for our family. That's for our friends, our community. Like, we need to build value in Him. And if you're doing it like you, like, congratulations, that's freaking awesome.
And we need Christian men and women, but we need successful believers with a ton of money that can make a positive impact, a lasting impact on this world and on the kingdom. So yes, lighting for profits is 100%. We need landscaping, we need pressure washing for profits, HVAC for profits, all the things so that we can do the things. I don't know if you've watched the news, the enemy is using a lot of profits for bad. And that's why you're doing what you're doing, is so that you can empower people for good.
100%. Yeah. No, I mean, it's kind of crazy. And I think you see this a lot too. And I know some of the programs that you're releasing, like, we're just trying to fix an earlier version of ourselves.
Let's go.
Because we've screwed up so many times. And it's like, man, if I could just help one person be a better father, be a better husband, be a better leader, be a better business owner, and to their people, like, that just feels so good.
Yes.
Like, of course we want to make money and stuff, and we got to put food on the table, but like, that is why we do it. It feels so good that they thank you, and you're just like, dude, I can't believe I did that. Like, I saved someone's marriage potentially. I
Makes it all
saved
worth
someone's
it.
business potentially, and then that ripple effect is huge, as we know.
Absolutely.
Well, so did we answer the question?
What was the question?
I don't even know what was the hardest part getting to $1 million.
Yeah, I think being patient.
Oh yeah, you did
Yep.
answer.
Yeah, being patient, not pulling the money out of the business, and bringing your family along the way. Even my wife, she's like, "Hey, I thought we were going to be making more money at this point, and you weren't going to be so bogged down in the business," because it has been a hard season. I shared with you guys in a 3-month period how much we lost. It takes a lot of effort. It doesn't just you don't magically come back for that. So we are making sacrifices on our end to increase profit, to streamline. And so bringing your family along in that process is hard. And my wife does not work in the business with us. She helps a little bit. She writes thank you notes. But there are a lot of things that I try to guard her from in the business, because this thing is hard. So, I mean, if we were to sit here, I could tell you so many just wounds and scars that I have from this thing. And as you know, and so many, what is the average range of the entrepreneurs that you coach inside of Landscape Lighting Secrets?
Range in terms of what?
Yeah. Sorry, annual revenue.
Well, we have anywhere from like 0, like they're just starting up, to like 4 or 5 million.
So would you say on average it's less than 500,000?
Oh, on average, for sure.
Yeah.
Even guys that have been in it for years,
So
I would say on average under 500K.
As the coaching industry, and I've coached for the last couple of years. I've coached dozens and dozens of businesses. I know more about other people's P&Ls and all the things than I could ever know about my own. I think we've done a poor job of really clearly communicating. We've told so many people, work on your business, don't work in your business. But we're coming into a season where that was easy to say when leads were flowing in like crazy. You get a massive return on Google on anything you did. But as we get further and further away from 2020, some people say we're going into a tough economy. Guys, you're going to have to get in the trenches with your guys at times. I'm not saying don't be a slave to your business, but be willing to get out there and do the things. Yes, 100%. At some point, the goal is for me to get off every day at 2 p.m., work Monday through Thursday, spend the rest of the time with my family. But right now, we're in a tough season. And so just for those guys who are under 500,000, they're continuing to try to grow, know that it's still hard. I say we, but you guys know what I mean. The coaching industry and the people who are pitching the programs, we say all these things, and hey, do like me, and you too can have, you can exit your business and have just this free life where you don't worry. There's worries at these levels too.
Oh, big time. I honestly think that that's the hardest phase. I mean, they're all difficult phases, but when you're small like that and you have no choice but to, unless you do have a rich uncle, which most people don't. If they did, they probably wouldn't be listening to this. Like, you have to do all the things. You are the receptionist, you are the office manager, you are the purchasing agent. You're doing everything, and it's really, really difficult. But that's why when we say work on your business, like, okay, what does that mean? Like, you've got to find time to 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 be disciplined with those tasks that need to get done. Otherwise, you're just putting out fires all the time, right?
Well, and I love, this is the last thing, just kind of on this topic that I'll say, it feels really good to be a fireman, to go in and put out a fire. And it's like, oh man, the guys tag you in Slack. Huge shout out to Chase for helping out on this job. Huge shout out for this. And the clients are like, oh my goodness, you're amazing. You came out and did this. Like, be careful not to be the, employee of the month as a fireman. And so I say working in your business, but that doesn't mean you're in the field every day. You get rid of 2 guys so that you can take over and run that one crew.
Yeah, because that's the temptation. Some people are like, well, I'll just let that person go, because then that's 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 a year that I'll just pay myself. And then they just hired themselves as a full-time firefighter again.
And they don't consider the opportunity cost of them not being out there shaking hands, kissing babies, getting to know people.
Are there any tricks that you've done to help get yourself out of the field?
Be willing. Oh, I love it. You said invest, right? We talked about investing in the beginning of this. Don't see your employees, or don't see a technician as an expense. They're a cost of goods sold, but they are absolutely an investment. So it was, and this is all it's all intertwined together. We talked about not having to pull all the revenue out of your business. If there's an encouragement, don't level up every year you grow. Let's say, we did 46K part-time our first year. Then we did 200, then we did 500, then we did 750, then we did 975, and then 1.1, 1.3, so on. But the tendency is, I can get a bigger house and a nicer car. And so we level up this lifestyle, but then we say we can't afford to hire these employees. And I have 100% been guilty of that. But yeah, being willing to replace yourself. Everybody's like, Chase, how did you hire your first employee and then your next? I trained everybody in the beginning stages. Now I don't, but in the beginning stages, I brought my first employee in. I worked with Ryan, my very first employee that started with me May 2nd, 2017, Ryan Prince. He just celebrated 7 years of working with us. He's my salesman.
Okay.
I worked with Ryan for like 12 months straight. It was 6 months before I sent him out on his own, because it was, new in business. But you train that guy, Ryan trained the next guy, and just being willing to invest. I said a lot to say a little.
No, I think it's great. I mean, that's the thing. Most people view it as, I can't afford to hire someone. If I hire them, then what's going to happen to my pay?
They're right. They can't afford it because they decided that they could afford all the other things. And now they can't afford it inside of their own business.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, my whole like epiphany was literally when I was changing a light. I was doing maintenance for a client, and I missed a phone call. This lady, like, she answered my phone call when I called her back, and she's like, "Oh no, we got someone else to come out." I'm like, "Well, I know I could still come out." And our average job was $5,000 at the time. She's like, "No, we already got someone coming out," and she really wouldn't let me meet with her. And I was like, "Holy freaking cow, lady, you won't let me meet with you? Like, do you know who I am? I'm sweating my balls off in a tree here. I'm trying to like serve the client at the highest level." Like, she wouldn't let me come out. And then I just did the math, 5, 10, 15, all the people who didn't return my call when I did call them back. It's like that's where I learned investment. I'm like, wait, so at the time I hired someone for 30 grand for the year to answer the phones. And that was so scary, because I'm like, again, if I pay her 30, I need that 30 for my family. But I learned real quickly on that phone call, and it was a valuable lesson, that $30,000 investment is going to at least help me make an additional 100,000 in sales, 200,000 in sales, whatever it was. And I don't remember the numbers, how it ran, but that was a huge moment for us, because now my time was freed up to go grow the company, to go do sales. And now she was doing all sorts of stuff, and she had ideas to help us organize and to get meetings in place and checklists and all this stuff that like I wanted to do, but I didn't have time to do. So yeah, man, team members are literally our greatest. I don't know if they're our greatest. They're probably our greatest investment in a company. I think they are. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now.
I agree.
I said it. Final answer. Okay, so I was going to ask you, but it kind of ties into what we're talking now. Like, is there a point where you started to feel like you got a hang of it, where you're like, okay, this is what freedom feels like? Like, it's not even in my business now. Like, I'm like, okay, I got this. I got freedom, and then I'm like, oh crap, I got to go work a ton to like get caught up. If I don't do this thing, we will not be in business 6 months from now or whatever. So, is there a time where you feel that time freedom, or are you there? Have you had it?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it, and you've seen the roller coaster image of just kind of the entrepreneurial cycle of, you're at the top, I've got this, and then you go down, you're like, oh no, and then at the bottom, like, I suck, I quit, all that. So I mean, I think just the very beginning was hard. February of 2016, I washed my first house. I was working almost every hour that was available during the daylight, as well as working a corporate job. So at that point, yes, it's all in. The best things that I ever did, where I started to find the most freedom, we hired an office manager very early in when we first got in, but I hired my first service manager or production manager. And that was when I really kind of found that freedom, is when every client call back or service call didn't come to me, or the guys weren't calling me every 5 minutes and asking me. I actually had that point in between. So I think for guys who don't have that, and they're out there, they're huffing and puffing, you've got to get an admin in place. We love virtual assistants, absolutely love them.
Nice.
We have a virtual assistant from the Philippines, Annie, she's amazing. But that next key position is that service manager, production manager. That's inside of my business, my cleaning business. Way more on the landscape lighting side. I don't know I don't want to advise that for someone, because I don't know that industry. But the more separation you can put between you and the client on the day to day, that's where that's where the freedom is found. And I can testify to that, because 2 months ago, I lost my production manager who had been with me for 2 years, and we haven't replaced him until the next couple of weeks. We just posted the position, and that time freedom has not been there. Like, I have felt like a slave to my business. So we've quickly realized that's a key position inside of our business.
Well, because you're the interim production manager.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a hard job.
Well, this is one of the reasons why when someone gets to 1 million, I'm like, all right, let's get to 2, let's get to 3 real quick.
Yes.
Like, we've got to go there now. And they're like, what?
Yes.
I did the thing. And I'm like, you are completely vulnerable right now.
Absolutely.
Because this happened to me. I had one sales guy, did awesome. Like, I'm selling 1 million, he's selling 1 million. But then all of a sudden he's gone. Wait, well, who's going to fill in? Who's got his sales appointments? Oh, I am. Oh, the office manager is going on a vacation. What, we give vacations around here? Why would we give vacations? If she goes on vacation, I have to work. Like, that's not right. Let's not give vacations. Like, see how that works, right? And so I realized, man, when you grow a business, it gets easier to have a bigger business. And people don't realize this. They're like, I just want to stay small. I don't want the stress. I just like, and they sound like that. I don't know why they change their voice, but they're just like, I just want to. It's weird. But they do. So, but it's like, no, the Jeff Bezos has way less stress than what we're doing. I promise.
Yes.
Right? Because he has people doing things. And so if you have redundancy in your business, as soon as you hire one sales guy, try to get 2. As soon as you have an office manager, get a receptionist. As soon as you have one install team, get 2. Like, those redundancies are huge. And I remember being in both phases where I was like, had to have those hard conversations with my wife. I'm like, we can't go on vacation now because I got to be the guy. What do you mean? I thought you said being an entrepreneur is awesome and you get to control your own schedule. Well, we do, but in 2 weeks, I can. Like, you don't control anything, right? So it's that redundancy is huge. So if you're at that point now where you're not in the redundancy phase, so it's happening to you, and then your freedom gets sucked up again.
Yeah, and I think the important thing, like, if these guys, just talk to my brother out there. If you're going through a hard time, like, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not the world's worst entrepreneur that's out there. You're just going through a season. And so knowing that this too shall pass, and we keep having to remind ourselves that this is a hard season, and you go through hard seasons and we'll come out better on the other end of it.
Yeah, well said. I think I forget about that. Sometimes I have the tendency to just like, come on, do this. But it's like, man, I've been there, man. It's not easy. The book Atomic Habits comes to mind. Just get 1% better every day, and that's huge. Like, because you do have to improve. Like, don't be happy with where you're at, but you'd be surprised what a 1% improvement every day will yield you. I got a question about your partner, and it'll be interesting to see how you respond to this. He's probably listening, right? But what's the hardest part about having a business partner?
So literally the first thought that came off my head is splitting profits is the hardest part, right? So yes, we do have, we're doing over $1 million in revenue, but just the fact of having to split profits. However, that's probably the worst part. I have been extremely blessed with an amazing business partner. I spend more time with my business partner than I do my wife. So one of us is the work wife. Can't, whether it's him or me, we won't say. But it is with a business partnership, there is a lot of give and take. There's a lot of grace that has to be given on any given day. I could be just in a terrible mindset. He's in a good mindset, and it's being patient with one another and kind of bringing each other up, being very understanding and gracious of, okay, somebody has, business partner A has this fantastic idea of this new business that we're going to start, and it's going to make us $10 million, and just letting that play out. And then it's like, okay, maybe that wasn't a great idea, but so splitting profits, the hardest thing. And then what I'll kind of split off of this and say, my number one advice, if you have a business partner, is define roles quickly, is division of responsibility. So we talk about, visionary integrator. And I think as business partner, you have to have both of those. Big picture, and I'll keep this short. The way we separate it is, he sells it and I figure out how to get it done. Right. So you've got sales and then you've got production. And he said, hey, I've got this. I'm like, sell it and I'll figure out how to get it done. So I take the guys and and we both intertwine. I get calls from the sales guy. He gets calls from my technicians out in the field, but really knowing our key core places, what our strengths are.
That's huge. Honestly, I found the book Traction. A friend gave me the book Traction. I read that, and I'm not like super emotional person, so like a tear didn't come out, but like it tried to come out. And I knew when I read that book that my brother and I's business was not going to last. Like in its current state. I was like, oh my God. And it even says it in the book. It says like you're gonna have to make hard decisions. Like people that are there right now are not going to be in your business. You might break up with your partner. And I was like, oh dude, this is sad. Like I can't believe this, because my brother and I were trying to both be visionaries. We didn't know about the delegation and stuff. And we're just 50-50 partners, like split the profits. What's the big deal? But the whole time he's trying to go left, I'm trying to go right. We go down the middle, no one's happy. Right? Well, we know what happens with that, right? So there has to be sacrifice. There has to be resolution. And so, I'm still kind of saddened about it, but it ended up being a good thing. It got me to where I'm at today. And there's learning experiences and all that stuff. But yeah, I agree, man. Role definition and responsibilities is just huge. That will help so many people out.
Absolutely.
So we are in the same mastermind together. And I know you've been involved with Conquer, both as a attendee or
client, coaching
client, and also as a coach.
Yes.
What impact has coaching, like you being coached, has coaching had on your business?
I think coaching is everything inside of my business. I first met Josh Latimer in in August of 2016. And from that moment where I'm like creeping, I met Josh on Facebook and I'm like creeping around, and he literally says, Chase, he's like, you can come over here. Like, I want to be your friend. And so that initial interaction. And then I was blessed with the honor and the opportunity to be in a mastermind with Josh Latimer, Casey Hamilton, and a guy named Ron Gibson. And those guys were extremely impactful for 2 years. That made just all the difference. And then just Conquer was amazing. I love everybody inside of Conquer. Shout out to Brandon Vaughn, Coach Kedma, all the amazing coaches. I am a lot of who I am today because of Conquer. But the systems and the processes and being able to shortcut, like I think of Landscape Lighting Secrets, you're literally taking I don't know how much you invested into your own into your own training and coaching, but someone literally getting that at pennies on the dollar for an investment of what took you years to learn. And you learn even more as you're coaching other people. People will say, well, Ryan doesn't own a landscape lighting business. Yeah, but this joker has looked at more people's company structures and their problems and what they've overcome and the profit and loss and balance sheets and all the different things. And so for me, massive value in community. Community gives so much clarity. And so I fully believe in it. Obviously, you and I have been in this mastermind, and we made a very significant investment into this mastermind to be around people like one another, people like Debbie Sardone, Jeff Lader, all these guys. And so massively believe in it. I still coach on a small scale. I coach a handful of guys. Love the guys that I work with. I stepped away from Conquer. I was teaching people not to trade dollars for hours. And I found myself, unfortunately, as a coach, trading dollars for hours. And so it was one of those corrections that I had to make back. So now I work with a very small handful of people right now, but absolutely believe in coaching.
I love it. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. It's one of those things. When I had my lighting business, I did not believe in coaching. I mean, I don't even know if I knew what it was. I was just my head down working, but I just didn't have that mindset to like go look for help. I was just pretty stubborn. And so now it's kind of like ironic because I'm on the completely other side of it. And so it's crazy because I don't get mad if people are like, no, I don't want to do it. Like I get frustrated because, and we've talked about this, you guys have helped me a lot with this. Sometimes I like let people make decisions that are actually wrong for them because I'm like, yeah, it's okay, and I'm like, no, like I'm very passionate about helping people. And you guys have really helped me out with this. Is like, man, this could be the thing if they decide to join this program. This could be the things that changes the trajectory of their family, their future, their legacy. Like, and that really got me focused on like, no, like, yeah, people need this. Just like I tell people need landscape lighting. People need landscape lighting secrets from me today. Like, I'm sold on that. Like, why would I let someone not do it? Like, that's why I'm so like, just like, guys, stop messing around, do these things. And I find myself being maybe not as empathetic as you are. You're like, guys, it's hard. It's okay. I'm like, it's not okay. You got to do this and this. But we have different personalities. So
Yeah. And I think the last thing I'll say on that is the value of the community, of knowing that you're not alone. And, we talk a lot about mental health nowadays, and everybody's like, just suck it up, get through it. But the ability to be in a group, and you've been on calls before where I've gotten in there and I'm just down in the dumps, and man, guys just come in and absolutely pour into you. And so having access to that, when I teach my Chase Freedom framework, I talk about having a brotherhood to lock arms with and to get in the trenches with you and go through the hard things, because it's not all rainbows and unicorns in business. Yeah, you're in the honeymoon phase, year 1, year 2, and you're making money and you're growing, especially if you were growing during COVID. I guarantee you get to years 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, like it gets hard. You go through a hard season. So don't go it alone.
yeah, they say it's lonely at the top, and it is very, very true. Well, so this, I admire you very much. You're a natural influencer, very charismatic. I don't even, well, I know this. I know you don't know your full potential. And it's like, dude, how do you not see this? How do you not know this? Right. And I mean that as a true fanboy. The bromance is real.
That's right.
But like, you're just capable of just conquering everything. Like, and one day you're gonna have this like wake up moment, and you have these hints of it.
It's gonna happen.
Like,
yes,
it's gonna just hit you over the head and be like, let's go. And you've had your business now for 7, 8 years, and I also know that the journey has not been easy. What would you tell the younger Chase Lord?
Ooh, that's a deep question, because there's a lot of gray hair later. 8 years ago is a long time. Josh Latimer preaches this: don't sacrifice your family on the altar of business. And I think that would be the encouragement, is don't keep your wife out of the business. Keep her, just talk to her. I think And again, you can go watch our YouTube channel and I'll share some of my story. I spent so many years trying to guard myself from being found out that I wasn't vulnerable. I didn't bring my wife on the journey. And so I would tell Chase, yes, go hard in business, set boundaries, be present with your wife and your kids, and don't just make an excuse that you're sacrificing for them and you have to provide. Is bring them on the journey. You know, you can always go back and earn $100,000, but you can't go back and get year 5 of your kid's life, or that 1 week trip that you should have taken with your spouse, or that recital that you should have been at.
Well said. Yeah, I feel a lot of the similar stuff. Like, man, I was doing this for them, but then you're not there, and like it's a weird and a bad situation to be in. So I appreciate you sharing that. Tell us a little bit about where you're at now. So you decided you got into some commercial real estate. You got your washing business. You know, it's up and down. But it's still up. I mean,
Oh
it's still
yeah, and I want to. Yes, it's up and down, but in the wash business, December to February, and even the first quarter is traditionally a very tough season. So Josh, the other day on a call, was like, "Dude, why are you beating yourself up? Do you normally make money in the season?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay, you happen to lose a little more money than you normally make." And so
it's still a phenomenal business.
yeah. Yes.
So,
Yes. Sorry,
but,
I cut you off there.
the only up and down is like, you lose your production manager. So
Absolutely.
you're going to solve that. Everything's fine. But why did you decide to launch Azalea Outdoor Lighting?
That's a fantastic question. You even asked me that probably 6 months ago, as I can remember where I was when you and I had this conversation, and you were like literally talking me out of joining Landscape Lighting Secrets, because so many people are in my position. They have this business and they think, oh man, I've hit this threshold or this milestone inside of my business. I've made all the money I can make in this business. I'm going to go start this other business because I'm God's gift to the service business world, and I know I can absolutely crush it.
Yes.
So a little bit of being misinformed and uninformed optimism, I guess, is what I would call it. But we decided to do this. We know that inside, and I'm going to get eaten alive for saying this, I only want my service business. There's a sweet spot for us, and I won't say how many crews that is or what that spot is, because I don't want to influence anybody's decision. But we have decided what functionally operates really efficiently with the maximum amount of profit. So for us, we were looking for that different vertical where we could cross sell to an extreme, very same client avatar, that we wanted cross-selling opportunities. And so we tend to serve a higher end client. We call ourselves a luxury service. We say we're the highest price. We don't tell our clients this, but we are the highest priced soft wash cleaning business in the area. We wanted to serve a different client. So what if we could build a $2 million soft wash business over here, and then eventually grow a $2 million lighting business over here, completely debt free? We're carrying $4 million $4 million in revenue with a goal of $1 million in profit. That becomes attractive. Big picture. This has kind of been our vision. A lot of people, Pat Clark does an amazing job of this. He licensed Precision Pro Wash for a very long time. He's doing his thing now where they're franchising. I think he's franchising.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't want to travel. I'm in my home office, which the sun's coming down, and it's lighting me up, but I want to be in my home office. I want to be able to walk through that closet door and go be with my family. And so I didn't want to travel. We do have one MEGAH SoftWash location, but I don't want 10 locations. We want to create a portfolio of service-based businesses in the Augusta area that can cross-sell and feed each other and just put off crazy amounts of profit.
I love it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, the only thing that's going to change is you're going to have 2 million in washing and 5 to 10 in lighting. I mean,
let's go. Sign me up, brother.
Because it's here in the online space. Like when you start buying like courses and things online, if you've ever gone through someone's funnel, there's a thing called a high ticket back end offer. It's like, get the book for free. And then there's an upsell. And then there's this high ticket back end offer that costs thousands of dollars. Well, that's exactly what you're going to do. You've got this washing thing that's, it makes money, like you're going to make money. But then it's like, hey, let us introduce you to our little secret weapon over here. Our high ticket back end offer, 10K, 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 10K. Oh, 50K. Oh,
yes.
100K. Oh, like this is where it gets fun. And and you've got those people that know, like, and trust you, to tie that back into what you said before. Like, they're already super fans. Like, let them buy more from you without traveling, without going to a new location. So I think it's genius. I think the one thing we've talked about is, I think the multiple streams of income is obviously amazing. I own a couple different businesses, but you've got to be able to make sure that that first one, the second one, the one that's consuming your time now, is a well-run machine that doesn't require you to work 40 hours a week. Otherwise, the new machine is not going to just take off, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I wrote down this quote. A gentleman named Tom Kroll put this up on his social media the other day. He said, "Dear entrepreneur, if you're not willing to put someone on it full time, put it down." And I thought it was such a very simple and great topic of, we came out of the gate on lighting, we did 30,000 in the first 6 weeks or whatever it was. And then I got pulled back into my soft wash business. And so this quote has been rolling around in my head of, okay, we've got to create some freedom from the soft wash side if this lighting thing is going to be successful. And so, yeah, that's a very tough one. And it's everybody you hear, I guess, Kiyosaki or all the guys talk about 7 streams of income. Yes, but those guys also have full-time teams that are in place, and they're more of, they sit on a board seat and they more, direct these different companies instead of the integrator in all of these businesses.
Yep. Big time. Okay. So let's kind of wrap things up. I think it's awesome, by the way, what you're doing, what you've done so far. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like, it's freaking killer. 1,200 clients, 800 average ticket. That just blows my mind. With landscape lighting, dude, I just can't wait for you guys to like get to that point where it can be your new baby.
Yes.
Because you've already got like, you're further along than when you started your pressure washing. I mean, so the startup phase is going to go so much faster. You've already got this client list. You've already got this gold mine you're sitting on. The potential is so big for you. So I'm so excited for that. And at one point I will force you to join Landscape Lighting.
I know.
But let's talk about some other things that you're doing. I know it's not officially launched, but Mandy and you have been working on some things. Tell us about what you've been working on together.
Yeah, absolutely. So about, let's say, back in November, we launched our very first Chase Freedom Elite Couples Mastermind. We went through 4 weeks where we got on a call with 3 other couples, and we just walked through, what does it look like to be an entrepreneurial spouse? What does it look like to lead and love your home well? And we went through kind of the key areas of life, of faith, money, how to handle money God's way. How does God tell us to how to handle money? And so we went through those 4 weeks. Absolutely phenomenal feedback. We are looking to launch that again. We've been on a little bit of a pause. March is our peak season for us. So we absolutely peak in March. And then, so that's a little bit on hold, but she and I are looking to bring that back. That is our passion, is sharing our story with other people, to let husbands and wives know that they are not alone in this journey in so many different areas. So yeah, that's kind of our passion project. We need to invest some more time in that. Again, I need to free up myself so that we can focus on that.
Well, I'm excited for you. I know whether it starts tomorrow or next year or whenever it is going to be, like, I mean, I just love to see you two together and your passion and the ability that for you guys to be vulnerable. You're going to impact so many lives,
Thank you.
I've learned a lot from you, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to be better here. So it's just cool that there's someone like you guys that are willing to be leaders, willing to be vulnerable, because you know how it is. I mean, you're doing it because you didn't used to be like that,
That's right.
And there's a lot of us that need that. So really excited about that. And then tell us about your legacy blueprint as well.
Yeah. So recently invested in War Plan with Josh Latimer. If you guys haven't heard of War Plan AI with Josh, it's unbelievable, second to none marketing platform that has come out. And so the last 2 years, I'm kind of all over the place. The last 2 years, I've coached a group of 4 guys, and we've just done life together. And I love coming in every week, checking in on these guys. I mean, we truly are that brotherhood. I call the guys the 4 horsemen. But I love that model of coaching. Obviously, yes, I have a 52-week blueprint that I call the legacy blueprint that focuses on those kind of 5 key pillars: faith, finance, all the different relationships, all those things. But I want to do more of that. I want to, instead of the volume, focus on coaching 20, 50, 300 businesses at a time. Like I'm at a position in my life where right now, this won't be forever. This is going to be kind of short term, but I want to get together with the guy who's early, or the guy who's doing 500,000, or the guy who is just struggling and wants somebody to get in the trenches with them. So I'm opening up. I've got 1, possibly 2 groups that are going to open up, very small group, all because I found as I was coaching all these businesses, I was giving a little bit to each person. And I want to be able to give you and I've, we've spent time together. Like, I'm all in on somebody. Like, I want to know everything about you. I want to know your wife's names, your kids' names. I want to know your production manager's name, your office manager. I want to know your technicians and what do they like? And I want to know, hey, what makes this person tick? Like I've probably said it 4 times, of getting in the trenches with you. I want to know what you're doing. And so, yeah, I'm getting ready to launch another group for that. So if anybody's interested, definitely, shoot me a message. Not everybody is a good fit. I don't have all the answers. As I said at the beginning of the call, I don't know a lot, but what I do know, I'm good at. And I want to be able to share that and give that to others.
It's awesome, man. I'm super proud of you. I mean what I said earlier. Like, I really don't think you understand your full potential yet. It's freaking amazing. So I highly encourage, if what you heard from Chase today, whether you've known him for years or not, if you're thinking, man, this might be my guy, like, he probably is your guy. So at least just get on a call, and then you guys can figure out if it's, because it is just a small group. I'm sure you want to make sure it's a good fit, but
Yes.
Check him out, guys. Just connect with him on Facebook. Thanks so much, Chase. Like, I'm congratulations on your success. Congratulations on overcoming adversity, getting to where you're at now. And I feel like, even though you've already conquered a lot, like, you're just getting started. So thanks, man.
Thank you, brother. Thankful for you.
All right, guys. That was awesome. Thanks, Chase. And everyone, just probably listen to the episode like 20 times and then take some notes and then implement the stuff. Love you guys. All right, everyone. Have an awesome week.